Hello, my name is Kara and I'm the Adult Services Librarian at the Oregon Public Library. And so today we are going to be talking about NoveList, which is a resource that the library purchases for our card holders to find great books to read. It has great books or book suggestions and recommendations for all ages, from children all the way through adults. And it is a really cool resource. So I am going to share my screen and I will be showing you how to use this resource. So let me just share. Just a moment here. All right. So you should now be seeing our homepage. And how you navigate to NoveList is to go up here to Research and Discovery. And this lists all of our online resources that we subscribe to or you have access to from BadgerLink. And they are listed alphabetically. So I will scroll down to N for NoveList. And I'll click on NoveList. So I'm at the library right now, and I'm automatically authenticated into the resource. If you are at home, you will be asked to log in with your library card. And so that is your library card number, the barcode, and it starts 290. So that will just be on the back side of your card. And so now we are into NoveList, and I'm just going to jump right in. One of the many great uses of this resource is to search for books, and that is by title, author, or various keywords. So, for instance, I'm going to use this to search for a book that I read recently, but I cannot remember the title of. And it was a great book, it's science fiction, about a woman who's alone on the planet that had been terraformed. And she has an interaction with the native population, which to us would be aliens. But since we're the aliens on that planet, so anyhow, it was a really interesting book and I'd like to look at it again. So I'm just in this keyword box, I am going to put woman alone on a planet aliens just to see what's going on, and then hit search, and I can scroll through here, and this isn't the book, this isn't the book, here it is, remnant population. This was a really fun science fiction book, and really interesting and well written. And so I would recommend this even to people who don't like science fiction, because it was more about humanity than anything else, which often science fiction is about, which was interesting. So she refuses to leave, and then she's alone on an abandoned planet when new settlers arrive. And so it's just a very interesting story. So that's one way you can use NoveList to find books. If you have certain keywords that you want to look for, like in this instance, a woman as a main character, that sort of thing, I'm going to go ahead and click on this and show you more. So on the record of this book, you have a description, this short description that kind of gives you the idea of what it's about. It also gives you a genre information. So we have science fiction here and various themes. So sometimes this is helpful for finding more books like that, or confirming this is the book you're looking for. Below that, we have reviews from sources like Booklist and Publishers Weekly and Library Journal. NoveList Plus does also include reviews of audiobooks. So if you click on audiobooks, you can see the record for the audiobook. It's a 12-hour listen, and so forth. Up here, as well as on the audiobook section, you can search LinkCat, which is our library's catalog, to see if we have this title. So I'll just go ahead and click on that, and it opens up a new tab and searches for LinkCat, searches in LinkCat for this item. And here you can see we do have 5 copies of it in the system, as well as having it on overdrive. So I could read this in my Kindle or on my tablet or on my phone. So that's helpful as you're searching for books to see if you actually have access to it in our library. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but it's always good to know before you get your heart set on a book. So yes, so that is the check LinkCat. And then I'll do the audiobook. We don't have it. We don't have the audiobook, but it does come up with the physical book and then the same search as before. So below that, we have more options down here, and it gives you more subjects and more topics, and there's little click boxes next to it. So you can select multiple boxes and find more books with these themes or subjects. So that's cool, and we'll be exploring that more in a little bit. But another feature I wanted to talk about is this read-alikes. So down the side of your page, you have all these different books, and they have been identified as read-alikes for remnant population. So then you can click on these books or hover over them. If you hover over them, this pop-up comes up and it gives you a little description and then the reason for why it was selected. There's a lot of books that could be the reason. There's a lot of reasons why you could like this book. Maybe you like that it was a female protagonist. She's an elderly woman too, which is, there's not a lot of elderly women protagonists, so that was really refreshing, and especially in the science fiction genre. There was a lot of interesting things with that. So if that was what I was really interested in more than the first contact or human alien encounters, then that would be a different sort of recommendation. But this says the books have themes of first contact, space colonization, social science fiction, and space colonies, aliens, and human alien encounters. So that is why this was selected as a read-alike. So you can go through these, and if you are interested in any of them, you can click on them and learn more about those. So I am going to go back to the NoveList homepage. This was one way you can find books, which is find a book you already like, and then do searches and see if there are other books similar to that you would want to read. Another way, let's go into NoveList. I kind of jumped right in and went into my searching for remnant population. But on the homepage here, there are also a lot of interesting ways you can browse. So on the homepage here, there are suggestions or popular books that you can just see. A lot of times it's cool to just they say don't pick a book by its cover, but sometimes it's cool to pick a book by its cover. And so you can, hover over an item and get a quick description of it. Oh, that sounds interesting. And click on it from there. I'll note here that also you can do this browsing on the homepage by age group. So if you're looking for picture books or middle grade readers or teen books, they have all of those categories here. And the functionality is still the same with every age group. You can hover over it, get a quick description, click on it, go to the record, get more information and all that. So these have picked themes and subjects terms of appeal that that searched for these books. So these are all romantic and engaging. They have action-packed and fast-paced, authentic and funny, lyrical and character-driven. So these are all things you might like about a book. There's also, the main features of, the characters or the setting, which can be reasons why you like a book. But a lot of times, I'm really into these lyrical, character-driven books. And, I don't mind if it takes a little bit longer to get into a book if then it really develops a full character and it's really beautifully written. So it doesn't matter so much where the setting is or anything of that. I just like to read an engaging book like that. So, there are these different terms of appeal, and NoveList searches by that, not just, the plot points. So that is a really cool thing here. There's also these browse genres things, so you can browse different genres for different age groups. And then they also have these great pages here for readers and librarians, and you can explore these different resources. So let's do some genres in here and see what we have. So we have these featured genres, and they and you can click on these to find more books. So I picked on horror for adults, and oh no, I clicked on the particular book. Yeah, let's click on horror for adults. And so then you have this genre guide, and it tells you what happens in this genre. So horror stories manipulate our emotions by playing upon deep-rooted fears of the unknown. So then there's these different themes in horror, and then it gives you book suggestions. And I'm wondering if I've read any of these. I haven't. I have read another book by this author, and I did like that. It was called Sundial. So I may want to check out this one too. And then it gives you key authors to know. Stephen King is probably the big one that we all know. I have read a few Stephen Graham Jones, which was also very good. And Sylvia Moreno Garcia is a particularly wonderful author. She wrote Mexican Gothic, which was the favorite book I read last year. Oh yeah, I'll go back to Sylvia and I'll look at some of her books. And here was Mexican Gothic I was talking about. We can search for LinkCat for that. And that pops up here. We got lots of copies. So if you're interested in that, you can do that. Oops, let me get back to my tab I was on. There we go. And then, I can look at some of her back catalog and see if there are other things I might want to read. But let's go in and look at Mexican Gothic and look at some of those subject categories. So this one has a lot more than remnant population. So one of the storyline things that I like to look for in diverse books, so authors, Black, Indigenous, or people of color authors, is this tag own voices. That means that the book is written by a person of color. And so you get kind of like an authentic perspective. Whereas some authors, write people of color, but are white. So it's kind of a different telling of the story. So the own voices is really great when you're searching for, more diverse books, or maybe a new author you're not familiar with, or in this case, just, a great story. And then we can pick out all of these different subjects, and it doesn't have to be another horror book that you're looking for. So let's just say atmospheric. That could be, something else. And then let's do socialites. Let's see what we get with own voices, atmospheric, and socialites. So I'll do the search there. And we only get 2. Those were some pretty specific subjects, but that's okay. Let's take this Chosen and the Beautiful, a fairly recent book, and we can learn more about it. We can get some more suggestions here. And if we go up here to the keyword search, you can see what our searches were. There's SC own voices. So this is a I can't remember what SC means. But then we also have TC, and then DE is descriptor. So we could change these out and do some different things in there. If we go into an advanced search, you can see all of the things are still up there. But we can also add different different other things to search for. So adult, or if we want specifically audiobooks or something like that, we could put that in there. If we have a grade level or lexile range. So this is more for children if you're looking for specific books for a certain grade level or reading level. You can also pick the author's nationality. So this is great for like book reports or something like that. You know, your kid's doing a report on Chile and they have to read a Chilean author. You can go in here and pick the grade level in Chile and see what books are available. They have recently added gender identity. So if you're looking for queer romance or something like that, you can put in that. I guess that would be more like cultural identity, or I guess this is racial here. So if you're looking for specific cultural identity, we want Jewish. Oh, they do have LGBTQIA here. So if you're looking for a queer romance or something, you can put that in there. And then the audiobook, if you wanted abridged or unabridged. So there's lots and lots and lots of options. One of the options I really like and use frequently as a librarian is someone says, oh, I heard about this book on NPR and I can't remember anything about it except I wanted to read it. So we can go in here and find NPR. NPR, and it has the different shows, All Things Considered, Ask Me Another, Code Switch, Fresh Air, and then you can put in Fresh Air, and then maybe, you know, your keywords on what it's about. I'll just put in Wisconsin. I'm sure there's a book on Wisconsin from Fresh Air, and we can do a search for that. And okay, there wasn't, but you get the idea. So talk about that. I'm going to go back to home. And so we've talked kind of in a weird order. We talked about using the homepage to search for different genres and find different books. This is great for just exploring or stumbling upon things. You can spend a lot of time on NoveList just playing around and seeing what's out there. Down the side, you can get some suggestions by different genres. And up top, there are, you can browse by different things. So I'll browse by genre. And then you just start putting in your genres. I will put in crime and suspense. And here we have different subcategories then: thrillers, crime and suspense, psychological suspense, and crime fiction. And you can just scroll through and these give you some new books and upcoming books that you might be interested in. I'll go up to browse and go down to appeal. So the appeal, did it go? Here we are. So before, when I showed you the like descriptor and T whatever it was, that gets put in the search box up here. There's an easier way to create those searches than by remembering like, oh, DE and aliens or whatever that code was put in up there. You can also create those searches by doing your own appeal mix. So let's select character, and it has racial identities as well as you know, a snarky character or unlikable. Sometimes those are fun to read about, character you just do not like, or well developed or quirky, or you know, something like that. So let's put in complex. That's good. And then we can also do, let's do a pace. So how the story is paced, is it fast? Is it more leisurely paced? Does it, you know, get more intense as it goes on? Let's go with leisurely paced. And let's do another one. Let's do amusing for the tone. And let's see if we get any books for this. This sounds like a fun book, doesn't it? With a complex character that's leisurely paced and it's amusing. And yes, we have 7 books here that come up. And if you want to view them all, it usually scrolls, but this one isn't for some reason. You can click on view all, and then you'll see all of these 7 results like that. You can search in the catalog, and up here, you can see this code that is put in, which it corresponds with what we put in the appeal factors. So that is also nice. If you like use NoveList a lot, and in the past I used to know what all of these different things meant, but I've forgotten over time. You can create your own searches, but it is a lot easier to use the appeal factors. You used to have to kind of go in and hack what all these different letters meant. But since they did this browse by appeal, it's become a lot easier. And of course, now I can't remember what the letters mean. You can also browse by themes. So if there are, you know, popular themes you want, or, you know, horror, Christian fiction, fantasy as such, that is good. And then award winners. So there are all kinds of book awards. And, you know, maybe you're looking for, oh, what's that one? Is it not Poe? I was thinking of the Agatha Awards. That was it. That was for mystery writer. So you can go in here and see the best Agatha Awards for best novel, and it gives you all of the winners back to 1988, when I guess it started. So this is cool to see all of that. Oh, this reminds me, another great thing. I could talk about all the great things for a really long time. Another great thing is you can look and see for all of the books in a series. For instance, oh, I clicked on nonfiction. I want fiction. Best novel. So for instance, All the Devil's Here by Louise Penny is a book in a series. It's not the first book in the series. I think it's like the 17th or 18th. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It's the 16th. And so here in the series section, it will tell you the series information. So there's Inspector Armand Gamache, and we can click on that. And then it will take you to this page that shows you all of the books in order. So, all right, well, I want to read the first book. I'll check Link Cat, and we have it in many, many formats because it's a very popular book and series: regular print, large print, audiobook, and downloadable. In listening to it or reading it, this is the audio, and then this is the ebook. Then there's also a DVD of the same title, So there's quite a lot of options here for the first book in that series. Another really a lot easier way to look up the book in the series is to use another website called Fantastic Fiction. If you are in NoveList, though, it's good to notice that that has that series information. But I'll just open a new tab and go to fantasticfiction.com and put in the author, Penny Louise. And then here are all of her series and all of her books in order of publication. So then we can see here Still Life. So this can be an easier way to get to the series information, but that series information is available in NoveList as well. So going back to the menu up here, there are quick links, and these go to articles and more information. I won't go through every single one, but there are articles about books, about their appeal, about the author, biographies of the author. There are book club resources. So if you are involved in a book club, you can get discussion questions and other things like that, more genre guides. I believe the page to screen is a book to movie resource, so you can get information about books that have been turned into movies. And yeah, so there is also extensive help available for how to use NoveList, how to find books in the library, how to find new content, how to find read-alikes. So if you learn anything from this resource, from this program, know that the resource is available and you can get help on how to use it. The staff here at the library also know how to use NoveList. So if you are in the library one day and think, gee, what was that thing about that stuff that has the info? You can stop by and see us and we'll do our best to help you. So that is about all I had planned to talk about in this little webinar. So I want to thank you for taking the time to learn about this resource and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.